Okay guys, this is LJ again. Time to get ready for our next video in the series of starting your own business, some things that you might need to know. Once again, this is just based on my experience. I'm not an attorney, I'm not a tax guy, but I have experience in running home-based businesses in particular. I also have experience running brick and mortar business and what have you, so I know quite a bit. I've been to many seminars. I've taken advantage of many opportunities, networking and otherwise. I am a manager in my professional life, so certainly I've got some experience that I can share with you. So if I look down from time to time, it's because I've got some notes here. Okay, so as we continue these videos, we mentioned now that we talked about the 10 steps for beginning a business. And we started off by saying step number 1 was to pray for direction. Step number 2 was to figure out what your passion was so that you can know where you want to focus your effort. Step number 3, try to determine specifically what is it about what you enjoy doing that you can turn into a business idea. You can't do it all, so focus in. Step number 4, do some research to make sure that there's a market for what you want to do. That is critical. Step number 5, once you determine that you have a market, guys, sit down. It's time to start making a plan. It's not time to just jump out there and start running and say, hey, I've got this business idea. Let's get going. Step number 6, start writing. Pick up a pen and paper and jot some notes down. No, we're not talking about a full business plan quite yet. Just make sure you start off by having a plan, something that you can refer back to, that can certainly give you some insight and keep you on the right track as you put your plan together. Step number 7 rather. Once again, don't skip it. Pray for more direction. Now that you have this concept, now that you've developed things, now is the time for you to make sure that you're still going in the right direction. Step number 8, guys, listen. Step number 8 is where we start off today. It is critical at this step that you start to network. Guys, networking is so important. I can't even stress the importance of networking with others in your area, others that are related to your area, others that might even be connected to your area, even if it's indirectly. You want to make sure that you put yourself in a position to start hanging out with folks who do what you do, or who know what you do, or who need what you do. Okay, so network with those folks. They can help you tremendously. Do some more research. Make sure that you've got the opportunity to do more research into the area that you are considering getting into. And then make sure you are aligning yourself correctly. Your business has to be aligned with the market, which has to also be aligned with the need. So make sure that even though you come together, you're networking, you're asking folk about the business entity that you're trying to set up, you are trying to develop this thing, make sure it all lines up. The worst thing in the world is to have an idea and market it incorrectly, or not know how to go about getting your idea to the right people, or to somehow miss the alignment. So make sure you do that. So what are others in their industry doing, and how do they do it? Those are the 2 critical questions. What are others in your industry doing, and how do they do it? This step may take some time. It may take an opportunity. For instance, I remember I have taken jobs in the past in the area that I wanted to work in for a few months just to get into the inner sanctum area there and learn how they do what they do. Now, I don't steal their stuff. I mean, but I gained the experience, and that is so critical. There's nothing like knowing for yourself how something works instead of having it being told to you. Nothing better than that. So if it means you've got to take a couple of months, go work in a spot somewhere as a staffer so that you can get the ins and the outs of how that thing works, go do that. It will help you tremendously. So don't underestimate that. All right. Step number 9. Check on your local, state, and federal requirements. Now, here's where you start getting into the nitty-gritty of business. Guys, you got to know what's required by your local city, You got to know what's required by your state. You got to know what's required by the feds. Okay? Because all three of those entities will now start to come in to play a role in your business. So you need to plan for that. You need to plan if you need to have your house inspected. Some local communities require that. You need to plan if you need to get zoning clearance. Some local communities require that. You need to plan if the state is going to require that you have a sales tax license, even if you're a consulting business. There's no sales tax on consultants, but the state still may require you to sign up for the license before they recognize you as a regular business entity. So now's the time for you to do some homework in step number 9. Check with your local, your state, and your federal requirements and see what is necessary. Once again, you're still writing at this point. You're jotting things down. You're taking notes. You're getting experience in areas. Make sure you account for it all on that same level. Remember this, you are joining a club. There are rules, there are regulations, there's things you got to do in order to get in the club, and then certainly there are some things that you have to do in order to stay in the club. And then step number 10, guys, line up your resources. After you've done all of these steps, you've got your idea, you've done your research, you've done your marketing, you know what the legal requirements are. Now it's time for you to start lining up your resources. How much money is it going to take for you to get this thing going? You know, or do you need to pull in anybody else to help you? And then what materials do you need? Do you need to make sure you've got a computer with a really good internet connection? Do you need to make sure that your internet connection is at high speed? I mean, what types of materials and things are you going to need? Do you need a 6-burner stove instead of a 4-burner stove? You know, those types of things come into play at this final step. Well, as you get ready to get going, step number 10, start lining up your resources. Human resources, material resources, and certainly financial resources. All right, so that's steps 1 through 10, guys, starting a business. Next video, we're going to be talking about what it takes to succeed in business. So getting started with business, part number 2 is coming up. Part 1 was the 10 steps. Part number 2 is going to be what's required in order for you to succeed in operating a business. God bless. Have a good one. Good luck.